collection of 20 million, and we should not gloss over. I think the reason we ask a governor, the substantive office holders, is for accountability purposes, so that if the committee recommend further action, we know who to help. So the under collection of 20 million, Chair, must be looked into. Somebody must be held accountable. And finally, Chair, I ask a question which I think, Governor, you either deliberately choose to ignore or you didn't want to. I wanted to find out what is the agency fees or the maintenance fees of this system, because the information I have is that every financial year you are using close to 80 million to maintain that system, because if your potential is 2 billion, after you remove the FIF, it comes to 200 million, for example. If 2 billion, you remove the FIF, which now we have passed the law, the Facilities Improvement Act, which is removed, it comes back to 200 million, which is still a big challenge considering the mapping of revenue streams that you have done. So, Governor, can you provide us with the agency fee or the maintenance fee of this new system? And secondly, now that you have cast, Chair, that will be my third question. Now that you say you did, there was no amicable resolution with the former collector of revenue in Trans Nzoia, what measures have you put in place? For example, do you own the domain of the collection? Do you own the system now? So that if that system takes off, Chair, does it mean also Trans Nzoia will continue losing data on revenue mapping streams and even other data important issues? Because under Data Protection Act, it is very important that the client is aware. So what are the stopgap measures to ensure if the new revenue collector decides to take off, can you also take off like the other previous one with all the data, with the revenue streams, with the projection and what have you? That will be my three questions, Chair. Okay.
Perhaps the details on the system, because I think there are two substantive issues to the system that we are coming to. We could deal with them when we get there, but you can deal with the broader issues. Then we'll go, there's an issue about termination of systems. So it will be neater to deal with what the Auditor General found out and then look at your written response. But deal with the other issues that have been raised.
Basically the system, isn't it? Yeah, we own the system. Mr. Chairman, the current system is owned by the county government of Trans Nzoia. It was procured at 26 million shillings with an annual maintenance fee of 7.3 million for 3 years. So after 3 years, we shall own the system fully. So I don't know where we are getting the 80 million. Those figures are strange to me, because what we have is 26 million cost of the system, 7.3 million annual maintenance of the system.
There was a question as to the lack of ambition, where you are effectively collecting 261 million versus a target of 2 billion.
Mr. Chairman, we've not shared with the CRA the formula they used to come up with the 4 billion, 2 billion. I don't think if the total wealth of Trans Nzoia now is 4 billion shillings. That's a lot of money.
4 billion? No, I think the auditor tells us that it has been revised downwards to 2 billion, which sounds reasonable. Have you done your own mapping?
I don't think so.
My understanding was that the 2 billion was a negotiated position. Was it not? That the CRA had proposed 4 point something, then it was contested, and then stepped down to 2 billion.
Chairman, personally, I've not engaged in any negotiation with CRA over this figure.
But as the CEO of the entity, what is potential? Because that is something that your receiver of revenue should have at hand. It should guide your budgeting. It should guide your, driven by your finance bill.
Mr. Chairman, the receiver of revenue has not...
Alone the CRA, I'm now asking, in your own assessment, what is your OSR potential? we can forget about this, the CRA for a minute.
Yeah, my potential from what I've been telling my team is that we look at how much the county council of Trans Nzoia was collecting before the advent of devolution, and how much the Kitale municipality was collecting, and in total it was about 800 million with the fewer revenue streams. So that was such as a baseline for us, that to know, can we meet what we were collecting before devolution? That's 800 million. We can put a markup, maybe 400 million. That will give us about 1.2 billion. It's reasonable, can be explained. But this other one of 4 billion really is just big.
So even if you are to use the 800 million, the fact is you are collecting just about a quarter of what the defunct authorities were collecting.
True.
Isn't that a cause for concern?
Major cause.
So I think we now need to understand some of the measures being taken.
Chair McHugh, this is 15 years down the line.
When the economy has grown.
When the municipalities were collecting 800, you are collecting a quarter. So it means there is a bigger problem. And I thought the governor, you said you have mapped more revenue streams, which are much more than other municipalities. So where is the challenge? And I remember when we went through ICT committee, and Governor, at that point you told us that some officers had been fired because they have been pocketing revenue. Is it still the position?
Actually, the problem we had was initially all revenue collectors were voluntary staff. So we actually recruited revenue officers. And we can demonstrate that after that, we've had some significant improvement in revenue collection. But as I admitted, and my team here knows, that we have the problem with the mindset, where people still cut corners. That because I believe there's no revenue officer who can know that you have not paid revenue and let you go. They can't. So they really know we're supposed to pay and pay what. But it's some kind of unholy, alliances out there. It's an internal problem that we're really trying to sort out. Is bearing fruits, not as fast maybe as we want, but when you look at our revenue growth for the last 2 years, there's a bit of improvement. Of course, I'll be happy if I beat the target of Trans Nzoia County Council, which had fewer revenue streams and they're collecting about 800 million. And of course, at that time, when they reached that record of 800 million, even councillors at that time participated in revenue collection. They went out and tried to participate. So it's a matter of sealing loopholes in the revenue collections department, where we have got officers. Actually, people fight to be deployed to revenue, including enforcement officers. They'll rather go to revenue than go to the hospital. So that should tell you something. Like when all policemen want to become traffic policemen, the motivation is quite obvious. So these are the things. If this committee has a solution, I'll gladly bring it on board. How do we seal loopholes in terms of leakage of revenue? Because that's where the problem is, nowhere else.
Chair.
Senator Wambua?
Chair, let's have a candid conversation because the governor is being candid. Governor, you're telling this committee and you're telling the people of Trans Nzoia that there is somebody sabotaging revenue collection in Trans Nzoia County. Is that what you're saying? That there is sabotage of revenue collection in Trans Nzoia County?
Governor?
I wouldn't call it sabotage. I'll just call it maybe theft. Yeah.
I think that seems to be it. And that's where we now need to, we have done the diagnosis. It is our job to do the prescription as a Senate.
Chair, maybe,
Senator,
Chair, with your indulgence, even I'm looking at your financial statements on receipt of revenue. Your original target was 643,700,000. You didn't achieve that. So looking at the projection, you have said you want even to go beyond municipalities of 800 million. And I don't know, you said councillors were part of the collection, so I don't know whether your MCA should be, but that's a point of discussion. So in this 643 million, there must have been realistic target of that amount. There must have been revenue strategy that you wanted to collect. So can you say something on your original target of 643 million And finally, Chair, Governor said they were voluntary tax collectors. Who was the greatest tax collector in the Bible, Bishop? so Chair,
Zakayo.
Bishop is always right.
You want me to tell you the name? You know the name.
So I don't know whether you are calling it revenue collectors. So can you tell this committee they were temporary? So how much did you confirm them to PNP so that they can be used? And number two, I ask a very specific questions. Are there any officers in revenue that have been fired? Are there, Governor, as there revenue officers that have been fired? Their own disciplinary action has been taken or administrative action? And how many are there? Because it looks like, Governor, you are aware there is a problem. Kuna watu wanakula. But you have taken a back seat and say, you know, I'll just go and tell the committee of the Senate there are people who are stealing our revenue. They'll give me the prescription. I thought you should be telling us, Governor, you should be telling, I found 10 revenue collectors, I have fired 10. I have reported to DCI or EACC for action to be taken. Because if you come and tell this committee through the chair with the indulgence that money is being stolen, but can the committee give us a solution? It should be presenting that these are demonstrative action, these are investigations ongoing, this is what we have done, we have confirmed into permanent and pensionable. Because the fact that everybody wants to be in revenue collection, it means there is a bigger problem than we thought. So can Governor highlight on that?
Okay, Senator Mwaruma, then the Governor may respond so that we can move to the other questions on the system.
Yeah, the Governor indicated that there are challenges in terms of collecting revenue from the national government. How much do you think, if the national government cooperated, you would collect from the land belonging to the national government? What efforts have you undertaken to collect that revenue? Do you have any annexures or, any support to show that you've made steps towards collecting such revenue? That would be my question.
Governor?